This is the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for Thursday, the 8th of August. I'm Michael Groff. A bit of a complicated forecast over the next few days, but overall, the trend will be toward drier conditions, especially for next week, and then temperatures will ultimately start to warm up. Let's talk about it first. The almanac from yesterday, 107 degrees the high, 88 the low, and some spots around Rainbow Valley, Goodyear, and Avondale yesterday afternoon even saw some rain. A good portion of the Central and West Valley saw some blowing dust yesterday afternoon as well. All right, outside right now, here at 8:15 a.m., partly cloudy skies in the valley, 89 degrees at Sky Harbor, dew points at 63, humidity 42%. The winds are light and the barometer is rising. Temperatures out there this morning range from around 79 at Fort McDowell, that's the cool spot, 82 in Buckeye, but most of us are in the mid-80s to low 90s. The upper air look, our area of high pressure is now being displaced off to the east in response to a quasi-stationary trough that's setting up along the west coast. Between those two features, we've got these short waves that are rotating through the southwestern states, and those will occasionally serve to give us some unsettled weather over the next couple of days before things ultimately start to dry out. The watch warning map, we've got red flag warnings from the Great Basin to the Cascades, the Sawtooth Mountains, and some of the interior west. Fire danger concerns aplenty out here as it's been a very dry summer. We've got heat advisories for the southern plains extending eastward into the deep south. Severe weather outlook for today. We've got a slight risk of severe storms for the eastern Great Lakes, a couple of marginal risk zones out here in the west. Arizona in the green, although I think that's a bit generous, as I don't think the threat of thunderstorms is statewide today, which we'll discuss in a moment. The precipitation outlook valid through next Thursday morning from the WPC. Rain amounts here in the valley, somewhere around a few hundredths, maybe a tenth of an inch. Heavier totals, of course, in the eastern mountains, southeast Arizona, but a good portion of the state will be drying out after this weekend, and we'll detail that now as we take a look at the models. Here we go to the GFS. This is the 06Z run valid at 2 o'clock this afternoon. And this, of course, is the upper look at about 18,000 feet. High pressure sits off to our south and east, a developing and deepening trough along the west coast. South to southwesterly flow here across the southwestern states and short waves rotating around it. So what that all means down at the surface for today, partly cloudy skies in the valley. Isolated showers and thunderstorms develop over the mountains. A couple of those may pop up over the deserts, and I wouldn't completely rule it out here in Phoenix, but the chance less than 10% of any of us getting measurable rain, maybe some blowing dust. Even that doesn't seem overly likely. Highs this afternoon, 103 to 106. Tonight, partly cloudy, lows in the 80s. And then tomorrow, partly cloudy. Slight chance of a late afternoon and evening shower or storm. The GFS being a bit more bullish on aerial coverage and intensity of storms for tomorrow. But still, I think if we're going to see anything, it won't be till later tomorrow evening and tomorrow night as another little short wave moves on through. Now, as we go to Saturday, this is where things get a bit more complex. I think the majority of the day here in the valley is dry. We'll call it partly cloudy. Highs again 103 to 106. But as we go to Saturday night, another more pronounced short wave or disturbance will move into southern Arizona. This has been advertised by the global models kind of off and on for a while, but there's a bit more consistency in this idea now. And if we look at some of the parameters here, the precipitable water values start to spike on Saturday night. To around 1.6 to 1.8 inches here across south central Arizona. So we've got some moisture, certainly. And the instability goes up considerably as well. This is the surface-based CAPE. Values between 1,000 and 1,500 joules per kilogram. And looking at a forecast sounding coming off the GFS for Saturday evening, you see those CAPE values, again, between 1,000 and 1,500 joules per kilogram. D-CAPE values up around 1,300 joules as well. And with some drier air in the mid-levels, this would lead me to believe that any thunderstorms that develop would be capable of producing strong, damaging straight-line winds, maybe some blowing dust, maybe a microburst as well. While the rain threat is there, I think the strong, damaging wind threat is probably the most pronounced with any storms. But the key element here is that these will be widely scattered. We're not going to see a broad, widespread severe weather event, but widely scattered storms capable of producing severe weather will be possible, I think, Saturday night into the early morning hours on Sunday. And then as that wave hangs around on Sunday, still will call for a slight chance of showers. The height fields will be dampened, I think, with more moisture around too. Temperatures will be held down. Highs likely in the upper 90s to 101 for Sunday, again with a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms. Now, as we go to Monday, the ridge gets further squished to the south and east in response to the trough now moving into the west. And so that puts Arizona under a more pronounced westerly flow aloft, and that's going to really start to dry us out. So high temperatures around 100 to 104, humidity levels going down, and we're going to see that trend on Tuesday and Wednesday. In fact, it is likely that we won't see any thunderstorm activity statewide by the middle part of next week, and that is extremely unusual for the heart of the monsoon. Well, let's go out to a week from today. This is Thursday, the 15th of August, and that still looks like the ridge intensifying but staying displaced to the south and east, putting us again under a southwesterly flow. Temperatures continue to rise, highs between about 105 and 109, and conditions to remain dry. And then going out 10 days, this is the end of the forecast period. Saturday, the 17th of August, still looks like fairly dry conditions. The ridge nudging north a little bit, but we're still under southwesterly flow. Now, the only little onion in the ointment here, so to speak, is that we've got, with deeper southwesterly flow, the tropics in the East Pacific may start to become more active again. So we could see some tropical moisture from distant tropical storms or hurricanes, perhaps getting advected in here. But that, at best, is a long shot and something we're not overly concerned about 10 days out, but something to watch. All right, checking out the temperatures through the period off of the GFS Ensemble. Highs this weekend may come down in response to some of that shortwave energy and the presence of troughing. But then next week, temperatures warm up again, perhaps to at least a couple of degrees above average, maybe warmer than this. We'll just have to see how intense that ridge gets. And that's going to do it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video back here tomorrow morning. If you like our videos, be sure to subscribe so that whenever we post a brand new one, you'll get the notifications. Your comments, questions, suggestions are always encouraged as well. Thank you so much for watching. Really do appreciate it. Be safe out there. Stay cool, and you guys have yourselves a great Thursday.